Welcome back to my channel. This is your first time here. Hello. Today I wanted to talk about disassociation. What is it? But I was thinking of should I talk about it in generally, what is disassociation? But I feel like I can't really explain it that well. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not here to diagnose anyone or treat anyone. Everything that I talk about on this channel for now is just my personal experience and nothing else. Disassociation, I'm going to talk about it in terms of OCD, in terms of my OCD. So OCD is very different for everyone who is diagnosed with it. The way that OCD impacted me is that I have really negative intrusive thoughts about literally anything, about society, about myself, other people, my family. I think sometimes I'll get intrusive thoughts that I'm in danger or something along those lines. Sometimes I'll get intrusive thoughts about really abstract things, are we real? Am I really here? Is this a simulation? And these are thoughts that anyone can have. These are not anything that bizarre, but it becomes bizarre when it's repeated over and over and over again. That's when it becomes OCD. That's when it becomes an obsession. I've had OCD throughout my entire life, varying degrees. Sometimes it got really bad, sometimes it was whatever, but I didn't even know it was OCD because I was having these constant intrusive thoughts. I didn't know if that was actually me. Are these thoughts, why am I having such weird thoughts? I'm just a little kid. I was I was a little girl and I was having these existential crises at 8, 9, 11 years old. I thought it was my fault, oh my god, this is real, but it's not real. It was just OCD. And to cope with those really negative thoughts, really bad intrusive thoughts about harming people or people harming me or just always being in danger, my brain started to disassociate from reality. Essentially, it's having brain fog, or it feels like you're dreaming or you're in a daydream. You're wide awake, you're present, you're here, but even let's say I was sitting in the classroom, the teacher would be teaching, I would zone out for half an hour and then I'd zone back in, and then I had no idea what was going on. That was me disassociating. Or someone could be talking to me, if my friend was sitting here next to me and she was talking to me, I could hear everything she's saying, but I would be zoned out, looking off into the distance, and I can hear what she's talking about, but I can't really process it because I'm not physically, I'm here, but mentally I wasn't present. Disassociation isn't only because of OCD. People can have it for a multitude of other reasons. If you've been through a lot of trauma or you're really stressed out, you can disassociate. For me, it was, well, at least I think that it was just because of my OCD. That's the main reason I disassociated. I would disassociate for hours and hours every single day. Disassociation felt really weird. It felt really uncomfortable. Sometimes I would feel very numb, and so I would try to pinch myself, am I really here? Obviously I knew I was here, but still it was just really weird. And sometimes I'd be am I going through psychosis? What is this? So basically it was just a stress response or a trauma response. I was really stressed out from all these bizarre thoughts that my OCD was giving me, the intensity to which I was having these thoughts. So I disassociated. So my body was trying to protect myself because my body thought I was in danger. So now that I'm in therapy for OCD, because I didn't know I had OCD this entire time, I was misdiagnosed and everything. And so right now what I'm doing personally, this isn't really with my therapist is there to help me and everything, but what I'm doing personally for myself is just trying to be more present and more grounded in reality, to I guess you can say to disassociate a little bit less. Sometimes it can be very small things just to help myself to feel more connected into reality. Let's say I'm going out for a walk, or I'm going to school or something, I'm taking the train or the bus. So what I will do is that I will leave my headphones at home, or if I take my headphones with me, I won't really use it during the entire time. Or if I am using my headphones, I will lower the volume, or I'll only use one, just so I'm a little bit more connected into reality. And it might not seem such a big deal, oh, just listening to music is gonna help you stop disassociating, but those small things, if you just pile it on and you do it for a long enough time, they actually can help you. So yeah, that music thing really helps me, because when I would disassociate a lot, I would just blare music in my ears because I couldn't deal with my OCD thoughts. I thought I was in danger, I was running away from the OCD. But now that I don't blare music like that, or I'm more conscious of the things that I'm listening to, it helps me be a little bit more grounded in reality. Another way, it's meditation. I think that's a universal thing, to be more mindful and more grounded in reality. I used to meditate almost every single day. Now it's I do it pretty often, a few times a week. I know that once I build up that habit again of doing it every single day, I'll be more mindful. I've already like improved a lot from like where it was 6 months ago, 7 months ago. It's basically just the more I keep going and just being mindful of what's going on around me, it will get better. Another thing that because of my disassociation, one thing that would happen was, you know, I couldn't watch TV. And the reason like I couldn't watch a TV show or a movie is because, you know, I would sit down to watch the movie and I would just be disassociating because I'd have so many intrusive thoughts. I would get triggered by like things from the past, or even just watching a movie, I could get triggered from like anything in the movie. And so because I don't want to deal with the triggers, I would disassociate while watching the movies. So I just hadn't watched a movie like in a minute. One thing that I did recently, like a few weeks ago, I watched like a 3-hour long movie. I actually enjoyed it. Like I actually paid attention to most of it, which is a really big deal. It's just nice to see that I'm able to do things now that I couldn't before. Like before, if I watched a 3-hour movie, or if you forced me to watch a 3-hour movie, I couldn't really tell you what it was about. Like I could kind of, but like I just wasn't present. For years, like I avoided watching movies. As I'm being like more present, I'm able to do a lot of things that I wasn't able to do before. You know, I'm able to have like more meaningful conversations with people. Like I'm able to make eye contact with people when I'm talking to them. And obviously, you know, there is still like room for improvement, but I think like the amount of improvement that I've made in the past few months, even like since my last video, I made a lot of improvement in the way I talk to others and the way I behave. Yes, I do slip up sometimes, I do make mistakes sometimes, but every time I make a mistake, it's like now like I can learn something from it. I like talking about these things, but sometimes it does get a little bit overwhelming. Like when I'm talking, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm being a little bit incoherent, or like the way I'm talking, it's like I have a lot of thoughts just jumbled in my head, and for me to like translate that in a way that people can understand my thought process, not my thought process, just like what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I have no idea what I was talking about, but this is good because, you know, I'm gonna look back at these videos one day and I'm gonna be like, damn, like, you know, before it was hard for me to talk like this and now I'm doing it like this. It's okay. But yeah, this is my take on like disassociation associated with OCD. I feel like this is something that hasn't been talked about that much. At least, like, you know, I do a lot of research on my OCD, which is really common. Like people with OCD, we really like to research these things, and sometimes it can actually make your OCD worse if you keep researching. That's an obsession, that's a compulsion. But I haven't seen a lot of things on like disassociation, and disassociation is very real for people with OCD. It was very real for me. I just wanted to bring awareness to this, just like, you know, it's a thing. And if there's anyone else there with OCD, or maybe you just disassociate for other reasons, I'm here to tell you that like it's okay. Like it was a defense mechanism or a coping mechanism or whatever it was, and there are ways to like get back into real life. And you know, it's just like I just have like a newfound like appreciation for life and all the things going on around me, like simple things that people who don't disassociate so often, like they might take for granted. It's like I can appreciate things like, you know, when I'm walking outside and like I step on like a leaf, like a crunchy like leaf that just fell from the ground, and I hear the leaf. It's like I can appreciate that, whereas before I was disassociating so much, I was not here, I didn't care, like I didn't like being, I know it sounds like it's kind of like morbid, but like I didn't enjoy life. I didn't enjoy being alive. Like I just thought everything was pointless. As I've become more mindful of what's been going on around me, life has been pretty enjoyable. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.